Hey there, everyone. I am just copying the Discord link right now so that I can post it. Here we go, Discord link. Not that, I mean, you guys kind of, I maybe hang out a little bit on Discord, but we're not getting a lot of messages from me there, but you can message me there. We're going to keep talking about songwriting. I gotta adjust this camera up a little bit. It's a little too high. Let's see if that's right. That's better. Hit my knee on the table here. Hey, Richard. Bob, good to see you. Let's see. This has been in Dadgad for the couple weeks. Of people, or at least we have a lot of chatter. Oh, I can keep this. I don't know why I'm putting it down. Martin, what's going on? Or Martian Murray. Let's see. Joseph is in the house. Eddie, what's going on? Nice to see you. Richard, I already said hi. Bruce, thank you for the text. Let's see. Who else is in here? Am I missing anybody? Hard to see. My eyes are kind of blurry today. My eye is better. The antiviral that they put me on is taking care of it, and it's all gone. But I'm staying on for another week just to make sure. It's kind of a recurring thing. It's like a canker sore in the eye kind of thing, and I didn't realize what it was for years. It didn't show up until I moved into the house, and I thought, oh, well, maybe the pollen is different in Granada Hills than it is in Pasadena. And I thought it was allergies or something like that. I've never really had allergies before, and I'd wake up with my eye hurting, and I go, oh, or I slept with my eye open because I'm blind in this eye, so I think sometimes when I sleep, it's not even closed. I've been told that. Kind of creepy. And other things about me. All right. We're going to keep talking about songwriting. I thought we'd go off on a little tangent here about AI. And one thing I don't want you to do is send me a tune that you prompted AI to write and say, look what I wrote. I mean, I don't want to hear that stuff. I've had a couple people send me things like, check out the, people that have never picked up an instrument in their lives. And they're like, check out the song I wrote. I'm like, you didn't write that. Somebody else wrote it, and then AI scraped it, and now you're claiming it as yours. And so, yeah, Rick Beato, I just watched his new video on it. And I don't believe him when he says everyone he knows is using AI to write songs now. Oh, Nashville is using AI to... I mean, maybe now here's one thing that you can do. And somebody just showed me so I had a friend, I think there's a couple examples I can think of that where AI was, music creation was put to good use, and it didn't really cost anybody any jobs. And a friend of mine, he had his 20th anniversary or 30th anniversary coming up, and so he wrote the story of their life on uh, on uh, probably Suno. Basically prompted the lyrics, said I want a country song in the style of so and so, you know, and and it was you know, it sounded like a country song in some ways, but the lyrics were like the giveaway. For example, I think a lot of times the AI songwriting things will come up with better lyrics than you ever could. Again, because they're being trained on, generally they're not going to put bad songwriters into, or they're not going to scrape bad songwriters. And so when they go after songs to feed into their learn language modeling or whatever the heck it is, they're going to use the best. They're going to take the Beatles, and they're going to or whoever, Keith Urban, and they're going to, you know, for country stuff, they're going to go after the best songs and they're going to enter those in. And then when it regurgitates something out, but my friend who did this and had this song that he gave to his wife, and she was all happy and teary, and it made her happy, and I'm happy for him. It's totally fine. He was never going to hire songwriters to write a song for him. He would never have done that. He would never have gone to the studio, rented a studio for it could be hundreds of dollars an hour, or, you know, a cheap studio could be $50 an hour, with a producer and a band and an engineer, and pay all those people and spend $2,000 or $3,000 to produce out a song as a gift to his wife. He was never going to do that. And this guy's a drummer. I played in a band with him. He's a great guy. But he was never in a million years going to do that. And that to me is fine, because if he wasn't going to do it, then nobody lost a gig because of it. So it's that's fine. Now, the thing that may be happening in Nashville, and I don't doubt this, and I haven't ever messed around with Suno and stuff or those things, but there may be songwriters that I think you can sing in your demo, and you can do kind of a rough demo, and then it will turn it into a finished demo with a band and singers and all that, and they can turn those into demos. So that will result in less work. And I'll tell you, I know for a fact that probably 95% or more of the sessions in Nashville are demo sessions. However, of those 95%, 90%, only 5% are probably legitimate demo sessions. The other 90% are people who sent in songs or lyrics, usually just lyrics. Oh, I'm a songwriter, and they saw on the back of a comic book, send your lyrics and $75 and we'll record a song for you. Okay, we'll turn it into a song, right? And I have friends that have done these sessions. There are some in LA. I have a friend. I have a friend that was a singer on some of these, and he would play them because they're so funny. Some of the lyrics were hilarious, not intentionally hilarious, almost more sad hilarious. But he would. What they would do is the songs. They would come in. They would get. Oh, let's just say a number 36 songs together. Okay, so there would be one guy, and he would do charts. He'd print up the lyrics. He would do charts, and generally the charts are going to be probably repurposed charts. So he's not really doing new charts. He's just taking charts that they've done before. They could be. He looks at a lyric and go, okay, these 10 could just be the blues. We could just do blues and E. And that will serve as the underpinning for the singers to basically improvise melodies. He's not writing, they're not doing, they're just making it up as they go. They finish the song, probably they literally mix it live, okay? And I chose the number 36 for a reason. They mix it live, and then they send it to that person, and they, the $75 check is cashed or whatever. Okay. They literally will do one of these every 5 minutes. They can do 12 an hour. And so probably 90% of the session work in Nashville are these kind of song demos. I don't know if that's true anymore, but back in the day, that was kind of... Now, the thing about that was all of the Nashville session players that are established, they all had to do those sessions. They all had to do those, because a lot of times now, when you do a real record, if you're doing a Keith Urban record, you might spend 3 or 4 days on one song. You might get a song done in a half a day, depending on how worked out it is. But sometimes, you may do a few different versions, or you may come back, revisit it, let's redo this or whatever. I don't generally, I've done sessions where I did a whole record in a day, 10 songs in one day. And at the end of the 12 hours, you were exhausted. That's not how the pros do it. That's not how the big record companies do it. They have budgets. They can go into the studio for a while, things like that. But a lot of those musicians that get those better gigs got trained doing these crappy songwriting sessions, where, again, grandma sends in these lyrics about her favorite flower or her cat or her dog or whatever, and they turn a song. And that was what my friend Randy was singing, playing these on cassette. He was playing them. It was just like, oh my gosh, these are hilarious. And they happen in LA too. I've never done one of those sessions, but I've sat in on one. And they did literally 10 songs in an hour, and then they were done. And it was fun. They had fun. They were laughing the whole time. They're just having a good time. Now, the musicians are making, if you run the numbers, I think the musicians are probably making $50 an hour back then or something like that. It was non-union, and they might do 3 hours worth, so they'll make $150 for the morning. And 30 years ago, that would be, a car payment maybe. I don't know, my first car payment was $250, so maybe not. But if you I can't, I don't even know how much people would charge, they would charge. It might be $100, or whatever. But you do 75 times 12 equals 900 times 3, hours, $2,700, and then you divide that by, you're going to have 4 musicians and maybe 2 singers, a guy and a girl. And they'll go, oh, this is a girl song. So if they pay everybody, the singers probably would get more like $200 or $300. The musicians get $150. $2,700 minus 600 is 21. Minus another 600 is 1,500. So the guy that is working the scam gets $1,500. He probably owns the studio, so he's not having to pay for studio time. And the musicians make $150 for doing songs that literally no one's ever going to hear. Their songs get sent to the people probably back in the day on cassette. Then now it's done digitally, which is even cheaper for them. They make more money that way. And that industry may be gone. And that's too bad. That's mostly a Nashville thing, I think. But that's a little too bad because, again, like so many musicians would get their training. And it's literally like it's music. We call it Hollywood when we're doing cues for a TV show. We could do, we could do 15 cues in an hour, but some of the cues are 3 seconds long, and we call it making music by the pound. And so that's the kind of thing that probably is going to be affected by AI in the short term. However, and then the pro demos too, I think. If Rick Beato's correct and that songwriters in Nashville are inputting their guitar voice demo in to make a full band mix of the song, that, in my opinion, is kind of a good use of AI, but it is cutting out a middleman and it is cutting out some work for some players. And more importantly, it's cutting out the experience for those players. Like, there's going to be less and less ways for musicians to get experience playing, especially in Nashville. Every bar has a live club, and man, I know musicians that wait a month to play a gig. It's just crazy. There's a million venues there. I think the same thing's true in Austin. There's a million venues. It's not like that in LA. LA doesn't have a lot of live music venues. I mean, there are a lot. There's probably more than in Nashville or in what was the other town I just said? Austin combined. But LA is so freaking big. I mean, in LA County, in Southern California, we have about 20 million people. So it's like, it's not even close to the same amount of people. So you don't really feel like there's a lot of clubs. Whereas in Nashville, you go to one street and there's a billion clubs. Same thing in Austin. My eyes got me from medicine. All right. So let's see. Are we doing math again this morning? Oh, maybe. Yeah, we might be doing some math. I think also AI is kind of like AI, Suno and things like that are kind of like college musician majors, like music majors. When you major in music, and I've been asked this question: should I go to music school? And my question in reply is, well, what do you want to do? And if they say I want to be a musician, then I say, yeah, go to music school. And they say if I want to be in a band, then I say no, go to art school. Music school teaches you how to play music that's previously existed. It doesn't really teach you how to create something that's not there. Film composing school probably does a similar thing, although I think if you go to USC for film composing, you're going to meet some people. Although I just talked to someone who went there, got his master's there, and he goes, yeah, I didn't meet anybody. He didn't meet any directors. He didn't get buddy with a director that he's going to be partnered with for the rest of his life, like Spielberg and John Williams. But music school will train you. They'll teach you, like, oh, here's you learn Bach, or you learn, jazz standards. Or you might, they'll, of course, if it's a pop music program, they might teach you, I can't think of a song right now, but some pop song. Right? But it's rarely do they tell you to create something that never existed. Or if they do, a lot of times they'll say, write a song in the style of Beatles. And it's phenomenal education because you're learning, you're dissecting what somebody did. But oftentimes it's done academically. And I've got a Beatles song right here in front of me that makes zero sense and is freaking genius. And I know the Beatles didn't know what they were doing. We know that for a fact. Even to this day, I think Paul would say, I don't know what I'm doing. And as far as like the rules of harmony are completely broken. I saw this YouTube short saying that If I Fell by the Beatles by John Lennon and McCartney was early enough that it was still John. It was on not Help, but the previous Hard Day's Night. If it was peak Lennon McCartney, and that was at the period of time where they were still, the two of them were churning out songs together. One would show up with a partial song and the other one would help them finish it, kind of thing. That was pretty much their MO. I don't think they would start with nothing. I've got another Dad video that I'm going to shoot maybe today. I'm going to try. I've got almost all the graphics done, which is kind of the pain. It's a lot of chords, so it's going to be a little pain to drop the graphics in at the right moment with the chord changes. That's going to be a kind of a drag, but I'm doing full like 12 fret. That makes it a little easier on me if I do like a 12 fret neck, and it just, when I drop the graphic in over in Final Cut, it centers itself and goes top to bottom. So all I have to do is drag it all the way to my left, and it'll be there. Hopefully it will be big enough. I think it will be. It depends on what you watch the video on. If you watch it on your phone, it might not quite be big enough. But imagine if 1/7 of this screen was a guitar grid. That's about, I think, maybe 1/6 of the screen. So that's what I'm going to do. I've got most of those already created. Again, I have to do the timing on them. But at least when I drag them in, and the reason I did 12 fret is so I wouldn't have to have the occasional graphic where it says 7th fret on the side. I even did ghost markers here. 3, 5, 7, 9, and 12. So I've got little gray dots there that should make it easy to see where I am on the fretboard, because I'm playing all over the fretboard with the next DADGAD video. Because that one is taking off. It's really going well. So I don't know how the algorithm is favoring me. But also I posted another short. You probably saw that was the just a short version of the acoustic gifts, stocking stuffers for the acoustic guitar player. But I was just messing around just now, all right, as I logged in, and I was coming up with, and AI I don't think messes around. AI crunches numbers. But I had a moment in this song right now. When you hit that first chord, it could be, oh, we're in the key of A, and then you hear the E minor, and you're like, okay, we're not in A, we must be in D. And I go to G. Okay, we're in D. And then I went to E. I could even go D to E sus. When I go to that E major, that would be kind of what I would call the money chord, the chord that's like a surprise chord. Yeah, me too, Holly. It's kind of energized me a little bit about the YouTube thing. We'll see. I mean, it's not life-changing money, but it's about right now tripling my daily average of how much I made from YouTube, which was just not very much money, really. So that's good. And so if it and the trajectories, it's still growing. I don't know why there are so many DADGAD people out there, but again, we got 9 billion people on this planet, and if there are a million of them are guitar players, and there's more than that, so we know that. And I think it's also the kind of video you might watch more than once, but I did include in it, it's one of the very, very few YouTube videos that I included a PDF, a link to a PDF, and I'm going to do that with this one too. So that's kind of, I think that people appreciate that. So hopefully I can film it today. I don't know if I can finish editing it today. It's going to be probably a pretty short intro. I'll reference the other video, and I'll say you might want to watch that video and watch this one. But then I'm just going to jump right to it, and I might try to. And I got a new card, HD card, SD card for the camera that can handle HD video. So we'll see. I did some experimenting with it. It's still creating like this haloing effect, not haloing effect, what's it called? Herringbone effect on the strings. Kind of weird, kind of jagged look on the strings. Like if I touch them, they're going to cut my fingers. It's weird. Okay, so let's see. Are we? No. Okay, it's looking sketchy here on my side. Just jumpy. Eddie, I saw Eddie. Anybody else new? Sam's here. Hey, Sam, good to see you, man. We got 21. That's cool. Okay, that's good. I love it. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. It's fun. Fun to see you. Bruce, I got you. Let's see. And Holly, we've been talking here. Okay. So, Sam, he's... Wait, what did Sam say? I missed that. Sam, what did you say? Oh, Julian is a sensational quarterback. Oh, you're talking about... you're talking about... Yeah. Well, the question is, does Ohio State and Indiana have to play each other? Do they do a playoffs in the Big Ten? I'm not sure of this. Yeah, you guys are talking NCAA football, so Okay, so what's crazy about it, If I Fell, for one thing, he's tuned down a half step. So I was just watching a video from the movie Hard Day's Night of John playing it, and they're down a half step from what this is, which is, so they're actually playing these positions, but the tuning is a half step lower. So if I were to play it in their key, it would be almost impossible, because the right when it goes to that 2-5-1 the 2-5-1 progression, it's he's using the open E minor. I mean, it just wouldn't, you know. One thing I know is that John plays G like this. All right. I mean, I think he was playing B flat minor like that. He was really kind of just working on the bottom strings more than anything. So it looks like John's playing G like this, and then when he went to, he just made a little shift like that to go to minor. All right. But the first 3 chords of the song, well, the first beginning of the song is like, wait, what's going on? Would you promise to be true and help me understand that I've been in love before and I found that love was more than just holding hands? And he would go to this D, so he would be up here. If I fell in love, I promise to be true and help me. It was interesting. So the way I chose to play that progression, E flat minor, here, pretty much the first place you're going to go for E flat minor. I mean, maybe you play it there. That's pretty hard. This is, believe it or not, easier. And he's probably not even playing the high E string, but I doubt you would not want to leave that open, because that would be a freaking amazing chord. Actually, that really is very Phrygian, right? If I were to do kind of a scary thing. That Phrygian starts with a half step. It's a minor scale that starts with a half step. So it's kind of cool. But he would not let that string ring out. So I don't know I can't quite tell if he's, because the video is from the movie and it's not always showing his hands. But I did see him go to the open D. And I also know John would often play D like this. From the same movie, I saw him play D like this. The one where the scene, I should have no, the one where they're all sitting in the living room in the pit, with the living room with the pits, the conversation pits they called them back in the day, where they walk into their 4 different apartments and they're all really just one big apartment. That scene is classic. So we're like, okay, we start, okay, we're in some kind of E flat minor key, and then it goes right to, and this, in my opinion, this is kind of their way of being jazzy. They're trying to, probably John, or probably Paul, if I fell in love with you, would you promise to be true? Who's singing it? And tell me, understand. Hold on, let me see. I think John's singing it. Usually if John sings it, he's the one that came up with the melody. Yeah, it's showing him singing it. Well, no, Paul is too, but the camera's kind of focused on John. And he's going to the D chord. See, not seeing his hands. Dang it. And he's strumming. He's kind of doing like this. Oh, I should mute my phone. Kind of a. It's without sound, it could be one of 2 things. Okay, I'm gonna do it with like an E minor chord. Okay, E minor chord. Everybody grab an E minor chord. He could be hitting a big downbeat, which is, I think, how he's playing it. That's a very common Beatles strumming pattern, right? But not hearing sound or where 1 is, although I can see Ringo right there. what I'm doing is hitting the whole chord, one, and on the and of one, I'm just kind of hitting the bottom couple strings semi-softly, not like, don't try to kill it. Almost sounds like, you know, George Harrison kind of, oh sweet Lord, my sweet Lord. But yeah, so it's kind of like ghosting. It's more interesting than going. Which they might have done in the studio, because if there's enough going on the and of every beat, then you may not need that. I should drop some Beatles songs in the Song Splitter, and that way I can kind of hear what's going on with the different instruments. That's the great thing about Logic now. Phenomenal software for $200. It's crazy. It has Song Split. You can drop songs in it. It'll break it up into voices, bass, drums, guitars, keyboards, miscellaneous stuff. It's pretty amazing. The last update added more stuff that you could separate. And it's done with internal AI. Again, a really good use for AI. It's great for kind of figuring out how songs are done and like figuring out guitar parts. If somebody hired me to go on tour, I could drag their whole catalog into Song Splitter and hear the guitar parts individually without having to struggle to hear them. Now, that said, and that may be a free software that eventually everybody's going to have. One of the best things you can do, and in fact, it's in my 7 Tips for Older Beginners Part 2, or seven more tips for older beginners, or whatever it was. I said, listen to songs and start trying to pick out things. Like, try to find where the kick drum is, or the snare drum, or the hi-hat, or the bass, or the guitar, or the drums. You know, listen to the elements individually, and it helps you. All good musicians can do that. And so they can hear every instrument individually when they hear a song. They can pretty much pick out everything. I imagine string players or orchestra people can hear like, oh, here's what the woodwinds are doing. Here's what the English horn's doing. Here's what the violas are doing. Oh, and the first violins are doing this, but the second violins are doing that. So I can't do that. I can a little, but not like an arranger or an orchestrator or a conductor could do, let alone a symphonic musician. But it's good for your ears. But anyway, the other variation on that would be if that accent was on the and of the beat. So it was like. Totally valid. It could totally be that, right? It could be. This is kind of the second version, the one where you're hitting the chord on the end of the beat. It's kind of an oompa, 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 right? And all of this is feeding into the whole concept of songwriting in the sense that rhythm, strumming grooves, that's all part of your song. So, like I said, do not send, don't. I mean, I guess you could post it on Instagram. We may have to, on Discord. Might have to create a new one. It's like, post your AI songs here. But I'm far more interested in, now, I just had a revelation. And I don't want to get too theological here, but a lot of people think of technology, and there's a lot of reasons to think this, particularly when it comes to social media and young kids. But it's a godless thing. It's a tool of the devil, right? And one of the things that I firmly believe is that I believe we're created by God, right? And I believe that we're created in His image, and if you look around this world for 3 seconds, and if you believe this world was created by Him, just looking at a leaf or a butterfly or the 10,000 variations of butterflies or the 10,000 variations of leaves or mountains or the sea or the fish or the whatever, God is a creative God. And if we're in his image, we are creative too. Well, Suno removes that creative impulse in us and says, look what I created when you really didn't do anything. It's a false thing. Whereas I feel like we're all imbued. I don't know. What's the word I'm looking for? We all have that creative energy in us. Whether we believe in God or not, it's irrelevant. It has nothing to do with that. If I believe that we're created, we're in God's image, it doesn't matter if you believe it or not. If I'm right, one of the things that's indwelled in you is this desire to create. And I don't mean songs or art. It could be, my mom was very creative in the way she did projects with me and my sisters. My mom was creative in how she maintained the home. My dad was creative in how he sold furniture. My grandfather was creative, in how he whatever, drafted legislation. I don't know. My grandfather was a congressman from Michigan, and did he go to Michigan? Look that up. I can't remember. I think he went to Michigan. I know my uncle went to Michigan. A lot of my parents went to Michigan State. They met at Michigan State. So I've got Michigan in my blood. Even though I'm really a Hoosier. I've never lived in Michigan. I've been there a lot, but I've never lived there. I've got the complete scores right here, right in front of me right now. The problem is with the complete scores, the writing is so small. Dang, I've got the book and I got the PDF. I'm not going to share the PDF because I just don't feel like that's the right thing to do. I could upload it to the Discord, but I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry. You can find it if you really want to go hunting for it. The book's probably not cheap. It's probably $60. But it's pretty darn cool because it has all the string parts and everything, so you can really see what's going on. But this song really makes very little sense. Oh, this is the wrong. I don't know what the heck this is. Okay, well, this is the wrong one. Well, it may be right to a certain point. Well, let's think that it's. I just know that it's. Oh yeah. So. I promise to be true and help me understand that I've been in love before and I found that love was more than just holding hands. Okay, so what is going on there? Well, for one thing, the verse really has no tonal center. Let's see. Do I have that? Where is it? Where are you? Here. Okay. So if I look at that melody, yeah. So. Freaking brilliant. I'm sorry. It's just, that is such a simple melody over that. Okay? So, I know some of you can't play this chord, but first chord is E flat minor. Okay? And okay, so it changes to D from there. There is no key that contains, no diatonic key that contains both those chords. I can't think of any key in the history of the world that contains both those chords. All right? We have one common tone, and John or Paul is milking it. In fact, because John, I think, is singing, did somebody answer? Oh, John sings it. Thank you so much, Bob. So, because John, one of the things that John would often do in his songwriting is droney kind of stuff. When I was younger, so much younger than today, I never needed anybody's help in any way. Right? That's a John melody. It's like da-da-da-da. Paul would be much more all over the place, more flowery and more show-tuney or whatever, but much more melodic, you could say. John would depend on the chords to make that a reality. The chords would make it interesting, and that's exactly what he's doing here. And he's doing literally the most basic melody you could do over an E minor chord. That's about the simplest melody you could ever do, okay? But the chord changes, so it's da-da, 2 pickups, right? Da-da-da. In fact, I think it starts out with a pickup. So it's, if I fell in love with you, would you promise to be true and help me understand? It says B minor 7, I guess that's right. So, all right, then that pickup into the next bar, the D chord hasn't happened yet. So the memory of the E flat minor chord is still there. So starts that, and then the only common tone between these 2 chords is that G flat, I would call it, in this chord. So the notes in an E flat minor chord are E flat, G flat, B flat. And then the notes in a D chord are D, F sharp, A. And this is the F sharp, it's enharmonic. No, don't worry, won't be a quiz on it. Everybody take a sip. Enharmonic means 2 different names for the same note. This is both E flat, this is both G flat and F sharp. So, now here's where it really gets cool. So that G flat would still work if the chord didn't change, but it changes to D, and that G flat now is an F sharp. And it works. Okay, now, if I were writing a melody over D, so if I'm thinking I'm in the key of D, that the D sus would be a very natural thing. So I might have done, and it wouldn't have worked, and I would have thrown it away immediately, but, so he goes, see that? Okay? So if I were writing in a vacuum over a D chord, that would be what I would do. I would not go, listen to this. Now that I got your head thinking D, see, that doesn't sound very good. Right? It's like, wait, what the heck is that? It's like, okay, that sounds awful. Then why does this sound so good? Because you haven't forgotten the E flat chord. And help me. And then he goes, and help me. Goes up an octave. And he's just singing the root. The simplest thing you could do over a chord is sing the root. And this is anything but simple. It's just freaking brilliant. Now, how did he come up with this? Okay, if I could go back in time and be sitting in the room with him, my guess would be that he probably was, it was a mistake. He was farting around and he was like, he was just like, or maybe there was a song that did that and he was trying to write a melody that was, or a chord progression like that. Like he learned a new chord progression, which is a lot of times what happened. They would learn a new chord progression, then they would write a song. Just like if they, back at the very beginning when it was just John and Paul, they would go, like if they heard someone knew a chord they didn't know, they would literally take the bus across Liverpool to learn that new chord. And that's, I think, kind of how they met George, because he knew some chords that they didn't know. It was like, what? So I think maybe it was his attempt to be kind of pseudo jazzy. The other thing that might have been at play here was that he was writing with Paul McCartney. And so Paul, they would up each other's game. So he was like, oh, what would Paul do, kind of thing. And Paul would, I'm sure, say, wonder what John would do when they were early on writing. Eventually they got their own voices more, and they just kept the Lennon-McCartney publishing on all their songs, even though it wasn't always that way. But even though later songs were completely written by John and completely written by Paul. But it was so collaborative. I mean, just to hear all the stories and to see them working in the studio. I think there's some new documentary stuff coming out. A friend of mine played on it, which is really fun for him. But yeah. Yep. It is not creative. And Catherine, you're a professor. You would know these things. It is not creative. It's the example I give is like, sorry, let me get this. Let me go back to that because the chart there is really white. I looked up AI Radiohead songs on YouTube, and there was something that it sounded kind of like Tom York, and it's like, okay, you trained AI, and I'm not sure how you do that. Like if you just go prompt, give me a Radiohead-like song, or you drop in a Radiohead song and say, give me a song that's kind of like this with Tom York, blah, 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 right? And like I said, my Logic right now, a $200 software, and I'm sure there are free softwares that do this, but I can split all that. So I can have the vocal out, and I can take that vocal, and then that vocal, if it's enough words and syllables and stuff like that, I can create an entire palette of Tom York saying anything or singing anything. And that's kind of what AI is doing in a way. But I think AI is more just listening to the whole and going, okay, here are the ones and zeros. Let's kind of move things around a little bit in a musical way and then do it. But B flat minor 7, I know. Sam, the question is it B flat minor, or B flat minor 7? I guess you have to. I have to look at his hand, and he's playing again. John's bringing his thumb around this. So, is he doing that? Is his pinky down? I can. Let's see. I don't think it shows his hands at that part of the song. Yeah, his back is turned. But AI wouldn't know how to deal with the prompt. What is Radiohead's record? Play me a Radiohead song from 2035, from 10 years from now. Tom York doesn't even know what that sounds like. And so AI basically, when all these Radiohead AI songs, they kind of sounded like Pablo Honey, which is the first Radiohead song, which is where Creep is, right? Creep, their biggest song is on Pablo Honey, and Radiohead hates that album. It's a cool album in the sense that it's grunge, and it's like very guitar heavy, so I kind of like it. But the next record, which is, help me here, if anybody knows, I can't think of it offhand. OK Computer's my favorite Radiohead record, literally top 5 of all time, records of all time. But that computer makes me cry, and that record makes me cry and makes me want to quit doing music. Like I know I will never ever aspire to create something that good, but that's just me. Beatle records are clearly on that too. I would put Abbey Road maybe number 1, which is an interesting record in how it came to be. But it would not be able to do it. AI would not be able to create what Radiohead will sound like in the future, because it's not creating, it's regurgitating. Now AI, Catherine, and we've heard this, AI is going to be great for paralegal stuff, and a lot of paralegals are going to lose their jobs because AI can write code, and that's all the everybody was saying, oh, learn code, and it's like learn to code, and it's like, yeah, no. Yeah, any job that's technology based is going to be at risk. The question is, Catherine, what do we do? What do we do if mass unemployment is the result of AI? I would like to think that companies lay off workers. I think I saw Hewlett Packard's going to lay off 6,000 or something like that they can replace with AI. That products will get cheaper, and that may happen. Uh, Clearly, mass production on the Henry Ford model made cars affordable for the average person. So there's definitely may be some pluses that corporations will pass it on, or if they have competition, they will have to pass it on. But the question is, what do we do with a lot of people that are unemployed? If unemployment goes up, and it's not a result of any necessarily political policy, but as a result of technology changes. And that was obviously the concern with robotics and with automation back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and with computers in the 80s, 90s, and with the internet in the 90s and 2000s. It was like the thinking was it was going to take a lot of people's jobs, and a lot of jobs don't exist now. In fact, if you want, you can go to chat, and I did this. Hey, chat, what name 10 jobs that existed. Like, I'll do it right now. Name 10 jobs that existed 30 years ago that don't exist today. And I did this with 10 years ago, 50 years ago, 10 years ago, or 20 years ago. Here are 10 jobs. Video store clerk. Well, yeah. Switchboard operator. Yeah, that's been a long time. Travel agent. That's definitely way down. I mean, trying to find a travel agency anymore. Film photo developer. Yeah, that's gone. Newspaper layout artist. Yeah. Dictionary salesperson. Yeah, that's gone. What did I say? 30 years ago? I'm like, what did I say? 100 years ago? Typing pool. There was no typing pools 30 years ago. That was the 50s and 60s, and the copier, the mimeograph machine got rid of typing pools. Toll booth collector, yeah. Bank teller, for the most part, yeah, there's still bank tellers at the bank. I still go to the bank. Radio DJ, maybe, I don't know. But then live DJs weren't a thing 30 years ago. Now there are. So there's going to be other things that are created. It's wrong a lot. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I asked Chad about who I was. Well, just that example right there, unless it heard me wrong, I said 30 years ago. 10 jobs that existed 30 years ago. 30 years ago, 1995, I don't think there were any typing pool, typist clerks in 95. That didn't exist. So, I mean, you'd have to go back another 30 years to 65 before you would have that. And then the operators where they were sticking the thing, that also goes back to the 50s, 60s. That's not that. My mom did that back when she first got married to my dad in Atlanta. She worked for Ma Bell. Yeah, so it is confidently wrong. I know, it's hilarious. And then it always, did it do it this time? Okay, and it always follows. If you want, I can give you 10 more or tailor a list to a specific industry. Like I told you when we were in Ireland and Google kept taking me on these little country roads where I would lose cell service. It was like, don't do that. Keep me on the main roads. Even if it saves 10 kilometers, keep me on the, make me do the top of the A, not across the A. And so I asked Chat, and I said, Chat, this is stressing me out. Can you get me from point A to point B and keep me on the M's and N's, which are the big roads, whenever possible. If I have to get off them, then if I have no choice, that's fine. I'm talking to it like I'm having a conversation. And it comes back and says, yeah, Tom, I totally understand how stressful that must be. I'm like, but he said, and then Chat said, copy this into your Google and then save it. And it worked like a freaking charm. It was great. So yeah, sure, we added 10 kilometers to our drive, but I didn't have any of those stressful drives where I'm in a one-lane road where branches are hitting my mirrors and I'm turning a corner and there's a semi. We literally did this. Turned a corner and there was a semi coming down the road right in front of us. And I had to back up because he can't back up. I had to back up. Well, he could, but it's easier for me to do it, to the nearest little cutout. It was like, I think we unfortunately weren't filming at that moment, but Beth had been filming quite a bit of it. And I was coming around the corner pretty slow because I knew he saw me probably before I saw him because he's sitting up so high. But it was a literal semi on that little road. I'm like, holy cow. So I asked chat about me, and it gave me credit for things that weren't true, which is hilarious. I'm not sure where it's getting all that stuff. Key punch operators running batch program. I remember seeing, yeah, exactly. So, and chat could write a song like this because it already existed, right? If I tell chat, hey, chat, write me a song that, or Suno or whatever, write me a song that's like If I Fell in Love with You or If I Fell by the Beatles. But let's keep looking at this because I think it's just. And then there he does go down to. So if I'm going to write over like a D, if I'm going to solo over a D chord, the first place I start is playing the root, the second, the third, and the fifth. Like I've got a little exercise I do over giant steps. Right? Okay. I will play the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 5 of each chord. See. Wait, what am I doing? Yeah, so no. There it is. So, it's just a good exercise, and it's a good way to kind of learn the chords. And so that melody that John does, again with that G sharp, that Lydian moment, right, Sam? We're talking Lydian here. Yeah, when AI works, it seems like a miracle. I know, and we're going to depend on it to do everything for us. I don't think that's wise. Do I think AI will take over, and robots will take over the world, or machines will take over, like what's the movie Terminator? No, but I mean, there's a part of me that does. I want to know how soon we're going to have robot butlers. Like in 5 years, am I going to have a Tesla robot? What do they call Tesla? I guess a Tesla, whatever they're called. Doing our dishes. Like like the meme says. I thought AI was going to be doing my dishes, not writing songs for me. Doing my bit. Painting my art. And it's not art. If AI does it, it's not art. If AI does it, it's not. The song's not art. It's not. It's just not. Can you tell the difference between? No, most people can't. 99. That's why that's. I don't know if that's why it's problematic. I don't know. It's horribly problematic. But will it keep people from learning instruments and writing songs? And maybe, I don't know. But it's a tool, and I think that's ultimate. Oh, so wait. I mean, that's just amazing. So I think. And that to me is an amazing moment too, where it goes, if I fell in love with you, then I want it to be true. I'm sorry. If I fell in love with you, then I so he's going E flat minor to D major. And now we don't know it yet. We don't know it yet, but he's established D as the tonal center, but I think that melody is still there, right? I'm going back to the, nope, back to this. Okay. And again, now what he does there, okay, the melody that he used over the E flat, right, is what he uses over the E. Just holding hands, the same melody over the E minor. And we've established now. And that little chromatic thing is very bossa nova, which was very big in the 50s and 60s. So, you know, very jazzy kind of thing to do. And so I feel like that happens in the song. But yeah, so the melody. Yeah, that's a cool melody. Let me see if that's right. I go there, go up. Yeah. Right, Careless Whisper? That's the Careless Whisper melody. So melodically, again, you know, I'm just analyzing it because that's what we do sometimes, but okay, that makes sense. I can do it here. Wow, we're in D Lydian and then you'll never be able to unhear that now, right? You're going to hear Careless Whisper every time you hear it. Not that we hear If I Fell unless you have a Beatles playlist that you pull up. You know, I miss that. I miss listening to records and listening to CDs and just from front to back, you know, and knowing what song comes next. That's just sad to me. You know, that most kids don't know that. I mean, vinyl's made a huge comeback, and so I think that anyone who has vinyl is experiencing that. So I think that's great. I need to get a vinyl player. I may do that, buy that for us for Christmas. I want to get a decent vinyl player that has maybe a Bluetooth output that I can take to some Bluetooth speakers and have that in the living room. That would be kind of fun. I mean, in the living room, I have an entire rack that's 10 feet wide of albums. I've got tons of albums. Most of them sound like... How do they sound, Tom? So, yeah. Oh, yeah. So much of that stuff, Sam, is gone. Yeah, looking at the DOS screen and thinking there's got to be a better way. Yeah, it was very primitive. And the fact that computers were, you know, told that they were going to take over the world or do everything for us, that didn't happen very quickly. And so now it's getting closer to that. There's sites like you can create your own app. Like you can say, I want an app that does X, Y, or Z, and it can create it. My guess is that if it's a really good idea, that they own that app and then they market it, and you've got this great app on your phone that you created, but now millions of people are paying money for it, and you're like, you didn't get anything. So I would be hesitant to do that. But I also know a friend of mine basically took all of their home savings to create an app. You know, they were saving to buy a house, and they used that money to create an app, and they couldn't get to market. I don't think he could get to market fast enough, and somebody beat him to it. And he basically lost all that money. Sad, you know. Brutal. Okay, sorry. So many tangents. Help me understand. Is that the Careless Whisper? If I that I do that the same. Holding hands. See, so he goes, holding hands. Okay, and now that's a 2-5-1 in the key of D. What does that mean? Okay, the key of D, 7-note scales, diatonic scales are 7 notes, and there will be a quiz on this. So spit in your drink. No. And a D major scale. And this is suddenly the song is in the key of D major. It doesn't make any sense, but the whole chorus is in D major. And the the notes in a D major scale are D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. I can play them on. It's good to play it on one string. Ah, one string, I said. You could probably fish for it and find it yourself just because you know the sound of a major scale without needing to know any of the notes or the formula or anything. You could probably just fish for it. I'm just trying to drive you crazy. But, and then you build chords on those individual notes. So on the D, we did this actually with the jazz stuff we were doing recently, but on the D, it's like triad, D triad, E triad, F sharp triad, G triad, and they have different tonalities: major, minor, minor, major, major. And so what he's doing is he's doing the 2 chord, E minor, just holding, which is the 2 chord in the key of D, because the second note in the key of D is E, and we build a chord on it. Get an E minor triad, and then the A, which is the 5. If we count up in D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we get A, and that's a major chord. If we build out the triad from that, let's see, if I. Yeah, so where does it go from there? This is totally wrong. I don't know who the heck wrote this chart. I hate that. The internet's always wrong. It's just always wrong. All right, so it goes back, right? Doesn't it repeat? Or does it go... Yeah, and it goes to E7. Yeah, and it says diminished. I don't think it's a diminished chord. I think it's just purely F minor. It's just a chromatic trick. Very, 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 very common thing to do in jazz. So it says here, even, this is the Beatles' scores. I think it's analyzing what's happening. So the guitar, it says the guitar is going, even this is, oh, I see. I don't know if this is. Yeah, I don't know about this. Oh, I see, and it's got the. It goes to A7, which I think is correct. It does. It goes back to the. If I get. D, E minor, F sharp minor, F minor to E minor. And I know he did this chord. This chord is a very common Beatles chord. And what that does, it sets up the key of G. And then it goes to G minor, right? And I saw John do this. Like, he's got this thumb way over here. So he's playing G like that. He might not even be playing this note. All right? Sorry, I got that light in the face. But here, let's get this. There we go. He might not be playing that note. He might be just muting that string. Keep in mind, he's writing with Paul. Paul's instrument is bass. He's sitting there with Paul. Paul may have a guitar in his hand when they're writing, but he may eventually get his bass out. And I guarantee you, some of what Paul would say is, dude, bass note's mine. Don't play that note. Too muddy. Just play. I'll play the G. You play the rest of the G. Because if I look, let's see, where is he? He's getting right up on Ringo's grill here. Where's that? Oh, right here. Okay. If I look at this, let me see if I can tell if his thumb is really on the 3rd fret. Again, this is a video from a movie, so they're not actually playing anything. But he is definitely, they would play the right chords, even when they're finger syncing. Yeah, it looks to me like he's just muting. He's just muting that bottom note. So very, very common. I just learned that recently. Like I thought, I watched that Rick Beato interview with Josh Stefanos or whatever the really good gypsy jazz guy. And I always played like D minor like this. To A minor, you know. Because I thought Django Reinhardt, you know, he didn't really have fingers. Like he only had these 2 fingers, so he'd do that and he would lay down this finger or whatever. And I think that's true to some degree. But he said he would do it like this. So he's not playing the bass note. He's got a bass player. So he's playing like an A minor 6 like this. He's playing A minor triad basically with a 6 on top. So that would be 7, 7, 5, 7. So it's kind of a little interesting thing. If you're by yourself, you got to play the G, right? If you're covering this song, then you've got to play the G. You got to play a full G chord. Okay. So so he goes, and I'll show you my favorite G minor chord. I love it. And you can do the open E or not. This is what's cool about it. So what I'm doing is I'm playing G like this, right? I'm actually playing G like this. So I'm not even playing the A string because that's a little bit muddy when you add that B in there. So I'm just playing a G5 chord. If I really want to go old school, I might do this and have that open B string. But really, I'm just playing a G5. And then if you take that pinky and 3rd finger and move them up 1 string, now you get that B flat in there. It sounds beautiful, and you got that D still. And then you stop there, and you're golden. But you can go to that E, woo, with that G minor 6 is beautiful. Or you can add the F sharp. So like I go. That's a great chord. Okay? And kind of James Bondy, but not too much so. And then it goes in. Oh, yeah. So if it never goes back to that intro. So the intro is just an intro. It's a standalone thing. Once we establish the key of D, it stays the key of D or D adjacent. Okay, so when it goes to that D9 chord, which is a great chord, I call that the James Brown chord, right? But when he goes to that D9 chord, and so I'm playing nothing on the bottom string, so I'm technically muting it with my 2nd finger. I won't isolate it, but it's this one. And then 1st finger there on the 4th fret, and then 4th string, and then bar the top 3 strings with the 3rd finger. Once you got this chord down, it feels really good to play. You can do the 13th if you want. That would be advanced. But yeah, D9. And so what that chord has in it, it has a 9th, which is E. That's in the key of D, but there is no C in the key of D. Remember when we were talking about D? D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. So what that's doing is telegraphing that we're going to the 4 chord because this D is the 5 chord in the key of G. Oh, so we're in G now. Oh, no, we're not. Goes to G minor. Very common trick. So we're in G, we're still in D, we played a D7 chord, which is a little out of the key. We go to a G chord, which is in the key, that's the 4 chord. Beatles would do this all the time. They would go to a minor 4. And then if you look at it though, check this out. Okay, play this G minor, make it sound like Stairway to Heaven. Okay, so I'm at 5th fret, 4th string, top 3 strings, at the 3rd fret, okay? So these fingers are not doing anything. It's just my 1st and 3rd finger, okay? Now take off your 3rd finger and play open D. Okay, so that's technically G minor over D. go to D. Back and forth. Okay, so what's really cool about that is you've got that sus4 suspension, that suspended thing 4 up on top, right? That G wants to go to, when you got that D in the middle. If I just play this, it wants to resolve down to that. If I just play, it wants to resolve too. And so you got that B flat, which is like a sharp 5. But yeah, I basically would think of that as a G minor over D. I wouldn't call it any kind of D chord. I could call it D sus sharp 5. I've never seen that in my life. G minor over D. But you can see all this tension right here wants to be resolved. So technically, G to D is a fairly strong resolution. It's a 4/1 cadence. It's the amen cadence, we say. All right? Amen, amen. Okay? This is... yeah, okay, so you've got the Beatles score thing? Okay, that's a good... Let me see. Technical question. Well, the funny thing is Beatles score has it wrong too. It says E flat, and it's not. It's E flat minor, right? I don't know if yours is like that, but is that the first page? Yeah, it's first page, yeah. So it should say E flat minor. There's so many mistakes on this thing. I don't know how that one in particular, because the chord is right. The chord diagram is right. But as far as what John played, I fell in love with you, would you promise to be true and help me, help me? You know, he went to this D, I think, and he would often go to this D. So if I fell in love with you, would you promise to be true and help me? Or he might go, and help me. That might be why he plays D this way, so he could have, in this song, he might have done it. I fell in love with you, would you promise to be true and help me? Right? But yeah, so the key of E flat minor is technically the key of G flat. So you're right, it should be, let's see, the key of G flat should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 flats, not 7, you're right. So it's probably assuming it's in the key of D flat because of the landing chord and because of the B minor 7, a B flat minor 7. And then it changes key. Yeah, that would be my guess. So I think it's thinking not, it's not thinking it's in E flat to start, it's thinking it's in D flat to start. And you might be able to, Sam, call, you got to call. Sam's going to miss all this. Okay. There's something called a tritone substitution. No quiz on this. Everybody take a sip. Usually has to do with the 5 chord. Okay. So if we're in the key of D flat, okay, the 5 chord is A flat. A tritone away from that, the devil's tone, is D. Okay? If he had played a D7, that would have actually been very common. Okay? Because you can, this is cool. So we did a 2-5-1, right? We talked about 2-5-1s. Let's talk about 2-5-1s in the key of D because it's easier. E minor 7, A7 to D. Or we could do E minor 7, just one finger, just play the 2nd fret of the 5th string. That's E minor 7 to A7. Top 5 strings 0, 2, 0, 2, 0. And then to D major 7, just bar the top 3 strings at the 2nd fret. Woo, sexy chord, right? Sexy chord alert. All right, but if we did a tritone substitution there, we could, instead of playing A7, we could play E7. And you've heard this before. I'm going to change how I voice these things. Here's E minor 7. See that? And again, I'm overanalyzing here. I don't think John is necessarily thinking, oh, I'll do a tritone substitution. Because one of the things he does, he doesn't have a seventh in there. If I then I would go, oh, okay, that's just a jazz thing. That would be literally one of the top 5 most common turnarounds in jazz. 2-5-1 is the most common turnaround in jazz. The 2-5 with a tritone substitution one would be close second after maybe a blues progression. Okay, so if I analyze that, yeah, that would be the key of D. Then we go to and that's, to me, when it goes to that E minor chord, that's the real shocker in that progression. For some reason, and I don't know if it's because we've all heard If I Fell, that doesn't sound unusual, even if it is. You know, he could just be, because if I take this A7 here, A flat 7, and I flat the 5, now I've got a D, and I've got a C, and I've got an F sharp, and I've got a flat 5. Now that's also, so this is an A flat 7 flat 5, but it's also a D7 flat 5. Isn't that crazy? I change one note, and that tritone substitution becomes an enharmonic chord, meaning 2 different names for the same chord. Okay, so you've heard the word enharmonic twice today, so there probably will be a quiz on that. So spit something back in your coffee. Sorry. All right. Is anybody here? Anybody paying attention? It's just Matt. Oh, yeah, we got people. Yeah. All right. Well, I know Holly's here. Well, there's Bruce and Bob and Sam. Sam took a call, though. Word of the day, enharmonic. Yeah. I should put that right here, right? So in some ways, that could kind of explain it. To me, so that, and also the other thing, that we're in the key, if we're thinking we're in the key of D flat, then chromatically going up to D for the rest of the song isn't weird. The weird thing is, and it would have been very difficult to do, okay? In fact, is that the only time it says If I Fell? If I trust in you, if I give my heart? Yeah, if I fell. If I fell, love with you, would you promise to be true? And help me, I just think I've been in love before, because I've been in love with more than just on the end of the, yeah. So, oh no, if I fell in love with you. At the end, let's see, where is that here? So if I keep going down to the bottom, how does it end? It's just, and again, that's wrong. We're in a key. It should be a C. There's so many typos in this song. It's not that. It's which over this is about the most obvious melody you would ever create over it. So the Beatles were morons. Okay, now clip that out. and that Tom said the Beatles are morons. Mom, I'm telling Mom. Okay? But that's not what's written. What's written is, technically what's written is, let's see. It's not. That's right. But it's. Is there a C natural somewhere? There's no C natural. So it's, yeah. So and then the harmony. See again, that's B flat. Oh no, that is right. Okay. Yeah, I guess that's right. It's still not written right here. That harmony, I guess this is Paul's note. Would be sad. Would be sad if I knew love. Would be sad if I knew love. That's a great. Would be sad. Would be sad if I knew love was in vain. The harmonies on this stuff are the gold. And that video that I referenced at the very beginning, the peak, the video that said this was peak Lennon McCartney, he talks more about the harmonies than even that beginning section. Okay, so. So yeah, it just kind of goes back and forth between the G minor and the D at the end there. All right, let me go away from this bright, unless you like that white on my face, but okay. And thanks for joining us. Exactly. Thanks, Holly. So yeah, but going back to the AI thing and writing, it's like, don't fall for it. Don't, in any of these things. I created a meme. I'm going to post my meme. I've never created a meme before. You can grade me on my meme on a scale of 1 to 10. I have to find it. Hold on a second. I have to go to Facebook because I sent it to a friend and it's not on this computer, so I have to bring it to this computer. Let me go to my desktop here. So I'll drag it to the desktop. Got to go to Facebook. My friend Kenny Hamilton was asking me. He was like, thought that it was hilarious. He goes, "Dude, you should create a meme." Oh, where is it? Weird. Oh, it's loading. Oh, really? What the heck? That's so weird. Oh, did I do it in the here? I don't think I put it here. Okay. Huh, weird. All right. I think it's on my desktop and my laptop. Let me share it with myself and you can tell me if this is a good meme or not. Hey. Let's see. I gotta edit. Let's see. He said this one was better. So I'll send this one. I'll just share it via email. Okay. All right. All right, so here's an email. All right, now I said I was going to drag it to my desktop. There it is. Okay. And it'll go away when I take it off the. Okay. Let me make sure it's the right one. Yeah. Got to find the edge of it. Ah, not the edge of that. Oh, here we go. Okay. My first meme. I don't know if this is the best way to say it, but I mean, it plays on a pre-existing meme, right? But I was like, dang, I need McDonald's to come up with this little box of fries that I can bring home to my wife when she says she doesn't want anything, and then she takes my fries. Like, we have, everybody has bag fries, right? Like the fries in the bag, okay, that's fine. You can have those. When we had kids and we get McDonald's or something, the bag fries were all mine. That was my tax. So. We call them Y fries. Okay, Sam, so here's my conjecture here, okay? I can go back on this. It's fine. In fact, it's not a bad thing because, oh, dang. I just lost it. Okay, I have to get smaller. Where is it? If I fell. Sorry. I don't really need it. Technically, I don't need it. I've got it here, but, okay, we're on memes now. All right. I can post that on the Discord, so if anyone wants to post it. Kenny said it was going to go viral. I don't know about that, but okay. So let's see. So here's my speculation, and you will totally understand this, so I don't have to over-explain it. We're not in E flat minor, which would, the relative major would be G flat major, which would have 6 flats. We're in D. This is the key that we're in. This is the 2 chord. This is the 1 chord. This is the 6 chord, and there's a 5 chord there too. It's not A flat. It's a tritone substitution for A flat, which is the D. So John might have seen that, like I just showed everybody, I said we can have E minor 7 to A7 to D major 7, A minor 7. That's a 2-5-1 progression, okay? We can take this, the 2 chord plate here, and we can substitute, instead of A7, we can do E flat 7. That's a tritone substitution. And then to D major 7. And people are pretty familiar with that sound. And so John's using pure triads. But he probably saw somewhere that there was a song that was like, or just, and I gave the example of, like, if I had A flat major, or A flat 7, and I flatted the 5, that's a D. The notes in this, A flat, G flat, C and D, that's an A flat 7 flat 5. But it's also a D 7 flat 5. Here's the F sharp, the 3rd. Here's the flat 5, or I'm sorry, this is, I'm turning around. This is a flat 5. A flat's the flat 5. F sharp is the 3rd. C is the 7th, and D. Those are, so it's enharmonic, an enharmonic chord. 2 different names for the same chord: A flat 7 flat 5 and D 7 flat 5. And so if you've done that, you know, and that's kind of what was going on. Let's see. If I fell in love with you, would you promise to be true and help me understand? So I think it was like he probably saw that, like, wait, jazz does E flat to D to D flat. And so that's probably where he came up with that, was like, oh, it's a jazzy thing. Does it sound the same? Not really, but if I made him 7th chord, or if I made it a flat 5, it'd be very bossy. kind of, and again, bossa nova was really big at that time. So that might explain how he came up with that. Again, I don't think he's thinking that hard about it. But he probably was like going, oh, this sounds jazzy. But his melody is freaking perfect. But analyzed closely, it's the most obvious melody. And then that note right there is where, you know, when it goes, da, 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 that's, and then, no. Yeah, in some ways, it's kind of the most obvious melody. But no, you know, and there might have been there. I guarantee there were songs out there like that kind of did that kind of thing. So especially in 1964, I'm not sure when they wrote it. Have you, Sam? Have you written what was the Paul McCartney biography? I should buy it again. Let's see. Lyrics, no. McCartney legacy, no. So many. Let's see. The one I'm thinking of was probably 90s. Well, let's keep going through here. Billy Shears, no. All the songs. It's similar to that. Philip Norman, The Life, no. He co-wrote it technically. Let me go to Amazon. Oh, somebody already saying it. Northern Songs, yeah, 64. Let me go to Amazon real quick. Oops. Because it's got to be one of the top ones. Like I said, it was him, McCartney, Stories Behind. McCartney, The Life, no. I don't recognize it. Well, I should recognize it. Many years from now? Maybe? Yeah, Barry Miles. This is the one. Many years from now. During the past year, Paul McCartney's been in the public eye. Blah, 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 blah. Let's see. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the one. Barry Miles sounds really familiar. He kind of talks about every song. Here, I'll pull up, I'll create a link. I may have to put this on my Christmas list. You can send it to me. So is that meme stupid or what? So yeah, and I think that's the book, Sam. Have you read that one? I think that's the one that where Paul pretty much goes through all the songs, and there, because of that book and because of interviews with John, I think there's only 2 songs that there's any kind of controversy about who wrote what and who wrote, you know, which song. And I mean, there was a lot of weed smoked too, so Bad to Me. What's that? I don't know this. Mother of the Beatles. I'm gonna have to check that out. So yeah, so that's I feel like the Barry Miles, I think, is a really good author. I think I've read other stuff from him. Let me see. Barry Miles, what else has he written? Oh, just that? Weird. Oh, well, I think they're spelling it wrong. No, that's right. Yeah. Weird that I ended up with that one um, as a biography. I don't know where I got it from. I have a lot of these books, a lot of the picture books. I have the complete Beatles recording sessions. This one's kind of cool. I could do a total Beatles book thing. The John Lennon book. This one's kind of nerdy. This one's a super duper nerdy book. I have it. I think it's in there. I have some Beatle books upstairs. I should do a. But yeah, the John Lennon one that I read has kind of been controversial. Mainly because I think it talked about some homosexuality stuff, him like beating someone up to basically killing someone. Not mind games. Yeah, I really wouldn't trust the ones written by family members or anything like that. But yeah, and it's very yeah the Albert Goldman one, The Lives of John Lennon. This one, I don't know. I may still have this book somewhere. Yeah, John totally had an edge and anger issues. John had total anger issues, which he kind of dealt with. Yoko fixed that. A good woman, women socialize men. Men left to their own, men left to their own, they will just turn into holy terrors. Women are a godsend to men. That's why God made women. It's like, yeah, God said it's not good for man to be alone. And it's a kind of iron sharpens iron thing. Your edges rub up against you. Women are different, men are different. You rub each other's edges, and then it's like you get smoother over time. I mean, I'm definitely much more chill and mellow than I was when I was young, and that every man will testify. Every married man will testify to that. But John, yeah, Yoko fixed that, and also one of the controversial things I think they talked about that he actually watched. What was the televangelist? Recently passed away. Kind of the round guy, ran for president once, I think. I can see his face. Anyway, I think the book claims that he gave his life to Jesus at the end of his life. But I mean, you look at his last record, and it's just, the double album. It's it's super maudlin, super happy. He was very happy at the end. Pat Buchanan, Pat Robertson. You're right. Yeah, Pat Robertson. Thank you, Sam. Yeah. So there's reports. Somebody said, and I think it got in this book. I think it's in this book in particular that he was addicted to Pat Robertson, the 500 Club. Up there, went to New York, went to the apartment. I wish I could have gone to the apartment. Well, I've never. Well, I've seen pictures of the apartment, right? Because the piano was in, Imagine was filmed in there. But she still owns that apartment. Yoko does. I mean, God bless Yoko for she just made him happy. She just made him happy. So. So that book is pretty heavily sourced. I mean, I trust, and Albert Goldman, have I read other books by Albert Goldman? See, this is what's funny is like other top Albert Harry Goldman. Okay. So who else did he do? Elvis. We did another book, The Lives of John. It's the same one. Freak Show. He did one on, disco, Lenny Bruce. That makes sense. Have you ever watched Marvelous Mrs. Maisel? That's a really good series, I think. And I love how Lenny Bruce is portrayed. Did a history on Post Office. That's interesting. History on disco. And then also it looks like he did one on Jimi Hendrix. That must be a serious undertaking. And I'm curious who Albert Goldman interviewed for that book too. But I think Yoko didn't like it. I think she was the one that was kind of mad about it. So, all right, I've been going on almost 2 hours, you guys. I should probably get going. I want to hopefully maybe film another video today, and then for the YouTube, well, for the YouTube, but for DadGad. I've got several videos now. All of a sudden, I've like gotten inspired to do a bunch of videos. I want to do one on another Bieber song, even though that video wasn't very popular. But I do have one that's kind of a cool use of a tool, a cool tool. I think I'm going to do for some reason, the 3 C major scales video is doing really well. So I'm going to do 3. I've done C, D, and G. I'm going to do A and E, and those don't take very long. Those are pretty easy, pretty darn easy videos to make. So I'll do those, and then yeah. So I'm trying to kind of lean into the stuff that's doing really well. That's typically how I work with YouTube, and I'm shocked that I mean, it's just crazy how the DadGad stuff. Let's see here. Let me go to my YouTube. I mean, currently, yeah, Bruce. It's adding a lot to my subscribers. This, if I go to analytics right now, let's see if the number is. Where's the number? Okay, it's still climbing. Yeah, well, that's partially because we're live. But some fun DadGad progressions is at 2,100 views in the last 48 hours. I checked this morning, it was 2,000 views in the last 48 hours. And last night it was 1,900 views in the last 48 hours. And the weird thing is it's peaking like really late at night, which is like where it's morning in Australia, but it's saying most of the views are the US. So I'm not sure what's happening there. But if I click on that video, I have to go back a year and a half to find it. That's what's crazy. If I click on that video right here, analytics, yeah, it's like, I like the trajectory, unbelievable trajectory on this video. And it started so slow. 555 subscribers from that one video, Bruce. So that's pretty good. A total of 41,000 views. So, you know, it's still not one of my top videos. If I go to my list and sort by views, obviously 7 tips, 5 songs with only, now that one's kind of sitting there now, I guess. Play most any chord song in DadGad, that one's climbing. Yeah, I mean, it would be, it barely does it. It doesn't even make the first page of my videos. Like the bottom video on top 30 is Strumming Lessons #1, the basics, and that has 44,000 views. What did I say? It says 41,000. So it's gonna break. It's gonna break in there. It's gonna climb with a bullet, as they say. So the Bluegrass Jam track in G has 133,000. And that's probably about the 10th video, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, it's like the 12th video. So I've got 12 videos over 100,000 views. That's pretty good. Tuning Your Banjolele is 94,000 views. I have no idea why that's a thing. Probably because there's no videos up there on banjoleles. And it's 93%. I've got a lot of dislikes on it for some reason. I've got 39 dislikes on it. People are mad. Oh, I tuned it and broke a string or something like that. It's like, yeah. 7 more tips. The follow-up, 126. That's just a fraction of the original. And I've got a card in the original 7 tips for older beginners that links you to the follow-up. But that doesn't mean anyone's clicking on it. So now this one, the suggestions from others, I did that almost right away when that thing took off. How to tune your 12-string guitar. Isn't that funny? That's 165,000 views. If I click on the analytics on that, I probably should be like, how to tune all these other guitars. Yeah, I mean, yeah. it's like, okay, that was an easy video to make, and it definitely paid for itself. And it's gotten 32 views in the last. So, yeah, I should do another how to tune something video. What can I do? Banjolele, that one just doesn't make any sense. I don't even know. The only reason I think that showed up is because I did a video on the banjolele, which probably has 10 views, and somebody in the video said, how do I tune it? I'm like, well, okay, I can tell you, or I can do a video. And that's kind of, I'm thinking about doing a video, if I can conceptualize how I want to do it, on a video of me writing a song in DADGAD. Not that I'm known as a great DADGAD player or a great fingerstyle writer, but I thought I could do something where I'm going through the process of how I write fingerstyle music. So anyway, thanks everybody so much for watching. We're just at 16 now. We peaked at 27, and literally it was a peak about 40 minutes in, and then it just fell down to back to 20. And so but I'm glad to see everybody here. Thanks to all the lurkers. Hey, 6ix9ine was lurking. It's great to see you, and I will I think I'm around next Monday, so yeah, should be around for a while. I don't have any trips planned. Maybe but Christmas is on a Thursday or Friday or something, so I think we're probably good. So yeah, lurker. Oh, David, you lurk good. Okay, I'll see you soon. God bless you guys. Take care.